Hey guys, it looks like a lot of commentary channels are doing My Story Animated, which is great. They have very, very good stuff. Well, very, very good stories. Like, look at this. You got pregnant? Okay, that's a knockoff channel. You shouldn't have done that. You used a hearing aid. This is Troom. We already looked at you. So let's see the I Have 10 Moms story.
Home alone when someone rang the bell of my house. My parents were not at home, and I haven't invited anyone else. So I wondered whether I should or not. My friends never come unannounced to my house. It was 10 p.m., so it was...
If you were a thief, why would you ring the doorbell? If you were not a thief and you're a friend, why would you come now? And what if it's your parents and they forgot the keys to the car?
It's dark and quite creepy. Yet I was extremely curious to see who came to visit me late that night.
Curiosity killed the cat or the woman.
Finally, I decided to check who it was.
Look at that face, though. Look like the tiny little nose and then the little eyes.
I opened the door and saw a young and especially handsome man. I was stunned. I truly believed that this was the mysterious prince that I have been waiting for all my life.
You were? All your life? Your very, very short so far life? A random guy walks up to your house and he's like, yo, wanna go out? I'm like, you don't even know him from your school. Not even from your school. He's just your new boyfriend that randomly showed up to your house.
In just 2 minutes, I came up with hundreds of theories of why he...
Why are you breathing so hard? Also, look how smooth that chin is.
...is here. Can you relate to the imagination of a 20-year-old single girl? Nonetheless, I wasn't able...
20 years old and you've been waiting that long? Wow, I mean... There has to be some cute boy at your school that you had a crush on, but I guess you're just hitting on him now. The random guy that showed up at your door at 10 p.m. Is your, like, mail order husband or something?
Able to say a word. I was overwhelmed by his...
Is he gonna grab her?
Tall figure and deep blue-eyed look. So we both were just looking at each other. And you won't believe...
If you're gonna be kidnapping someone or something, why doesn't he know what to say?
What happened next? Before I continue my story, I'd like...
No, you don't. You really should continue your story. You know, before you continue your story, let's have a look at today's sponsor. We don't have a sponsor. Alright.
I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe to My Story Animated to follow the rest of my adventure.
Rest of your adventures? You only get like one video here and then you're out of here. You're never heard from again.
My mysterious prince introduced himself.
Your mysterious prince?
However, he came with the lamest excuse on the planet. He said, sorry to bother you, but my tire blew out. Are you alone or is there anyone that may help me? I guess...
I mean... Your tire blew out. That's not good. So walk up to the random person you find at... And it's not an excuse. Where's your car, buddy? You should have gone to the closest house, not the convenient house for the story. Like if his tire really did blow out, we need to see the story.
I guess he was referring to my dad or another stronger figure. Anyhow, here's when I got scared.
Oh, Chromebook.
Is that old laptop still trying to boot up? It's switching time.
Nope, no,
Reality
it's not.
hit me and I suddenly became aware that he can rob me, kidnap me, or even do something worse. And I am sure...
You didn't think about this before you opened the door.
that he noticed the change in my attitude. I was as pale as a cloth. To calm me, he took a step back on the porch and decided to spill the truth.
Yeah. I mean, you should have thought about that before you randomly opened your door. You should have looked through your little peek hole, looked out the window. It's 10 o'clock at night.
He said, "I'm not going to hurt you, but I need you to listen to me." I was about to slam the door in his face, but something kept me waiting.
That's how you keep any animal near you. Just saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna hurt you." Boom, instant safety
So I
factor.
decided to hear what he had to say. He began the story by explaining that he was looking for me for months. However, he didn't want to scare me, so he came by as a random stranger.
He was looking for you for months. Yeah, that's how you open it. That's how you start it up. Start how to not gonna be hurting you.
At my door. I almost fainted when I heard this. Was he a maniac? A psychopath who has followed me for a long time?
Yes, this is a good thing to think. Good thing to think.
No, he was my long-lost brother. What a
Wow, long lost brother.
turn of events. All my life, I believed that I was the only child. I never had anyone to share my secrets or even fight with.
That's the problem with long lost brothers and sisters. How do you lose them? Like, how much older is he compared to you?
My parents were always spoiling me, as I was the only center of their attention. Can you imagine the emotions I went through when I heard this? A brother? A 24-year-old?
4-year-old. Where did they dump him? A pound? They dumped him at a pound probably and just said, "Here you go. Here's a 4-year-old," and just
Tall and handsome brother. Anyhow, the story
no. Turn off that Alabama energy. Turn it off.
gets even more complicated. I finally decided to invite my brother inside. We were talking
Oh, he says, "I'm your brother," and then you automatically believe him that he's your brother. He's not even the same hair color as you. He's not even like, he's taller, he's way taller than you. There's no Alabama, there's a lot of Alabama energy right here.
for 2 hours, but he didn't want to share the story of how we were related. At least not until my parents came home. I could notice the confusion on his
Look at those mugs they bought from the merch store.
face. He thought I knew I had a brother. That's why he wanted to wait for my parents, or should I say, our parents.
Is it though? They probably dumped him at a pound still though. Isn't he like mad? How'd he get lost?
2 cappuccinos later, my mom and my dad
It's 10 o'clock when the story takes place.
finally arrived at midnight. May I remind you that there was a stranger in our living room? It was
Oh yeah, like I wasn't talking about that.
obvious that my parents didn't even know who he is. Their first assumption was that he was my boyfriend.
Yep, yeah, Alabama.
And oh my gosh, here we go again. My protective father always felt the need to defend me against the male kind. At the end of the
I mean, yeah.
day, I was his little princess. So I can understand the
Look at that invisible weight he's lifting.
reasons for his actions. He was about to fight my brother when he said, "Stop it. You know who I am. I am about to tell her."
Really? I thought they didn't know.
Long story short, we all managed to calm our frustration and sat on the couch.
Calm your frustration. There's a random man in the house.
Suddenly, my mom started crying. I have never been more confused
Oh no, not an affair.
in my entire life. She said, "I hope that what we are about to tell you won't make you love or appreciate us less." I assumed that they gave my brother for adoption and they didn't want me to judge them. I instantly developed my theory that they were young and panicked. Apparently, I was about to forgive them. But believe me, when I say I was far from the truth. My mom was stuttering. Still, she wanted to be the one
Stuttering.
that reveals the whole.
Oh, Chromebook.
Oh no. Did your game just get interrupted by
Did
an
it?
update?
Did my video get
Switching
interrupted by
time
your
to a
update?
Chromebook that updates automatically. Switch to updates without interruption. Switch to Chromebook.
Yeah, don't switch. We'll switch if you want
She
to.
began by telling me about her pregnancy with me. She didn't even mention my long-lost brother. When I asked her why she is skipping that part, she answered, "You will understand."
Yeah.
Apparently, there was an earthquake on the day when I was born. Can you guess how this justifies my newly discovered brother?
Okay. Wait. Earthquake. Then there has to be some sort of real life thing related to the earthquake. Hopefully there is. Like maybe if one of you guys can figure out if when this story takes place and if there was an earthquake happening, when and where, that would be great.
Well, neither could I. To be more specific, I was born in our local hospital. My mother was struggling for days before I decided
The screaming in the background really ties it together.
to come out. Obviously, I was indecisive even in the womb. It's a characteristic of mine that explains many actions I have taken in my life. Anyway, I was born
Really?
in June. On this particular day, 16 other babies were born in the same hospital. It's
Okay.
not many, but as I said, it's a small town, and I should be lucky that there weren't more babies at the moment. I know it sounds confusing, but you will understand when I finish the story. During the
Just keep going. We'd understand. Just keep going.
conversation, my mom told me, as you already know, all babies look alike. Can you imagine my shock at the
Really?
moment? My own mother
Really? Not all babies. Okay, fine.
couldn't tell me apart. Did they switch me with another baby in the hospital? And does this explain my long-lost brother? Well, I wish it did, but the reality was far worse. When my mother gave birth to me, she held me in her hands. Like any other mother, she
So it wasn't switched because she said when her mother gave birth to me. So, well, my mother gave birth to me. So I don't think they actually switched.
wanted to smell me, to hug
Smell you? Not gonna lie, she just came out. Why would you want to smell her?
me and hold me tight. My father was right beside her during the whole journey. They were thrilled that they had a daughter. All their lives, they dreamed of having a girl. That's why I am as spoiled as I am. They truly gave me everything I ever wished for, from the fanciest clothes to the most
Stop flexing on us.
expensive toys. But that's not what makes my parents special. They have always listened to me, dedicated their time and full attention to my concerns. And my mom and dad love me unconditionally, and they always will. So what could have happened on my birthday to make my mother so anxious? Is there anything that can stop me from loving them for a lifetime? Back to the story. My mother
Back
had to
to the
give me to
story?
the medical nurses. Then I was placed together with the other babies. This is the usual hospital procedure, so I still couldn't spot the problem. But as I mentioned before, there was an earthquake at the hospital. The
You guys gotta chill with like flashbacks, like not even flashbacks, but like as I mentioned before, this, that. That you guys gotta chill with that stuff.
important fact is that everyone survived this disaster. There were no
Hopefully.
victims in the accident. Well, except the sacrifice of the truth. I and the rest of the 16 babies were tangled together and transferred to a safe place. The issue is that the hospital didn't keep good track of our identities. There weren't any available DNA tests at the moment, so they decided to keep this as a secret.
How long ago was this? How long ago was this?
For years, the parents weren't aware of this issue. All that time, they believed that the hospital gave them their baby. More specifically, there were 10 female and 7 male newborn babies. After a few years, the truth came out. But it was already too late. The parents have developed strong relationships with their children. My parents didn't want to put me through such a stressful situation from a young age.
What is it? I mean, a little bit matters, but does it really matter? It doesn't really matter, does it? As long as you love the child and as your own, it's like getting an adopted child. It's the same thing. Just love it as you'd do one that is yours. I mean, yes, it's not. It is not your child, but still, you should still love it as your own.
After all, they loved me as I am their own blood, even if I was not. As shocking as it sounds, I was then made aware that I have 10 mothers. Both my
10 mothers? What? What do you mean 10 mothers?
mom and my dad burst into tears. My mother started cursing my new brother. She started yelling and asking why he came. She was 100% convinced that I will blame them or even leave them as complete strangers. But she...
Why? Why would he come? Why does he need to come? It's not different. It's not even like it was his birth. It wasn't like he was even adopted. It was like switched.
He was wrong. I didn't blame my parents, not even for a second. I was just shocked by this new information. Can you imagine finding out that you have 9 more mothers, 9 more fathers, and a whole bunch of brothers and sisters? Of course, I am speaking hypothetically. I know that I can only have 1 mother and 1 father. But who are they? Are they the people I have been living with my whole life? Or are they people from a different culture? Individuals with other values and daily habits? No matter the case,
Look at that clickbait title, Enro. Look at that clickbait.
I wanted to meet them. I cannot imagine
You
what my mom
wanted
and
to
dad were
meet them?
feeling at that moment. Maybe they thought that I would leave them for my real parents.
I mean, yeah, you'd like to meet them, wouldn't you?
Little did they know, I have always seen them as my only family.
Well, duh. You didn't know about this. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, the mother's blonde, or like a redhead, and the father's blonde, and she's a brunette. How'd they mess this up?
Now, back to the story of my long
If the father wasn't there when the earthquake happened, he probably would have thought that the mother cheated on him.
lost brother. I'm sure that you are questioning why he was looking for me. His adventure
yes.
began when he met a girl at the same age as his sister, or the girl he was living with. At this stage, we're unaware of who is related and who is not. When he met the girl, he instantly felt a connection. They started talking and bonding. After a while, he discovered that she was born on the same date and in the same hospital as his sister. It was simply too big of a coincidence. He spent months on research and he came upon the hospital's secret. Then he decided to face his parents with the truth. He asked them whether the girl living with him was truly his relative. Even though this was a well-kept secret, his parents decided to reveal the story. Like my parents, they were also introduced to the problem several years after my birth. It was at that particular moment when my brother promised to spread the truth to all 17 babies. He didn't want to participate in this huge manipulation, so instead of keeping us in the dark,
Why? It doesn't matter. You're just making everyone mad, bro.
he was dedicated to uniting us all. Allegedly, I was the 8th girl baby on his list. He tracked us all and had this difficult conversation with each family. It is little...
But they said, oh, back then there weren't such things as DNA tests. Well, now there is. You don't have to look at, oh, who's this, who's that. You can just say, DNA test? Yo.
He was our hero. However, I cannot explain how I felt at the moment. It was honestly chaos of emotions. I felt anger, sadness, happiness, but ultimately I was thankful for the truth. But what path should I have chosen? I couldn't decide whether to ignore the facts or go looking for my biological parents. I was
You don't
20 years
need
old,
to.
and I had no idea who I was.
You're 20 years old now. You don't need your parents anymore.
Where I come from, and who are my parents. These past 3 months have been a roller coaster of emotions. Now, you're asking yourself why I didn't immediately take a DNA test. It sounds really simple.
Yes!
But you wouldn't feel that way if you were in my shoes. My parents weren't the only ones who were frightened of the truth. I thought that once they discovered that I'm not their child, they would abandon me. At the moment, I was scared.
Aren't they scared that you'll abandon them? What is this?
Of reality.
They knew for like 20 years though, so like, or not even 20, but like a long time they knew.
It was easier to ignore the issue and live in a world of my own. However,
So this guy, like, makes everyone sad. Like, he's that one guy that ruins the time for everyone. Why would you have to ruin the time for everyone?